let's look at our Titanic dataset. I'm going to drag that onto the process flow in Enterprise Guide. It's going to open up. We've got 4 columns. Survived is whether or not the passenger on the Titanic survived. 1 if they did, 0 if they didn't. We've got their name. We won't be using name in this analysis. We've got their gender, male or female. And we've got the port at which they entered the Titanic. S for Southampton, C for Cherbourg, and Q for Queenstown. We should find somewhere down here. There we go, Q for Queenstown. Okay, so we're going to use our table analysis to try to figure out if there is any effect of gender or port of entry on survival. We're going to take gender first. So let's choose gender and survived as our table variables. Go into tables. I like to put survived here along the top and gender on the left. So our 2 columns are going to be male and female. Our 2 rows will be male and female. Our 2 columns will be survived 0 and 1. I'm going to click on association here and click chi-squared tests to get our test of independence. So we're testing here whether survival chance and gender are independent of one another. Our alternative hypothesis is that they're not independent, that is, they interact. That is, knowing something about the gender can tell us something about their chance of survival. Okay, let's hit run and see the output. So first off, we've got our table of data up the top. Female and male are our categories for the rows. Survived 0 and 1, so didn't survive, did survive. Just looking at this, it's pretty clear that you had a better chance of surviving the wreck of the Titanic as a female passenger rather than as a male passenger. 339 out of 466 for whom we have records survived if they were women. Out of the men, only 161 out of 843 survived. Let's change something real quick in order to make this table a little more informative. You can see these column percentages here. These tell us of the people who didn't survive, what fraction were male and female. Of the people who did survive, what fraction were male and female. For me, I think I'd find this more informative if we go in here to tables, cell statistics, uncheck column percentages and put in row percentages instead. Let's see what we get now. Replace our output. Now our row percentages are within each row, so within female and male, what proportion survived and didn't. So for me, this makes more sense. We've got, for the people who were female, 72.75% of them survived, 27% didn't. Of the men, 19% survived, 81% didn't. Okay, so it looks like there's going to be strong evidence of interaction between gender and survival chance. And when we go down here to our chi-squared statistic, indeed we see is very, very significant. The probability is absolutely tiny, a very high chi-squared value. So we're going to be pretty convinced that there was in fact interaction between gender and survival chance, and we can look up here at our table and get a feel for what's likely to be the case. And indeed, it's probably what you knew going into this data set, that women had a much higher chance of surviving than men did.